Something in her corner. He knew before the 4th day. She almost got there on the 2nd. Hazel was 9 months old, and she had just figured out that crawling was not the ceiling of what her body could do. She had discovered the corner of the living room near the old baseboard heater sometime around the beginning of October. The way babies discover corners, by being curious about the thing the light doesn't quite reach, by being drawn to the specific texture of the baseboard against the carpet edge. She had been heading there on Tuesday morning when Tanaka cut her off. He did it with his body. No sound, no change in expression. He was a 4-year-old Chow, rust-colored, built like something that had been designed by committee from several other animals, dense and low and deliberate. He stepped between Hazel and the corner and did not move. She changed direction and he repositioned. She tried twice more in the same morning, and he met her each time, sliding his wide body into the space between her and wherever she was trying to go. Her mother, Simone Park, watched this from the couch and told herself it was resource guarding. Simone had grown up with dogs. She knew the language. Chow Chows were known for it. For claiming space, for deciding that certain rooms or objects were theirs, and requiring some gentle behavioral correction to adjust. She had dealt with it before with a previous dog. She knew what to do. She redirected Hazel. She gave Tanaka a firm correction. She moved him to the other side of the room. He was back at the corner by the time Hazel woke from her nap. The 2nd day, Simone's partner Marcus watched it happen and said the same thing she had said. Resource guarding. Maybe the baseboard heater produces heat he likes. He said they should call the trainer they had used 2 years ago. Simone agreed. They made a note to call on Thursday. Wednesday was the same. Thursday morning, Hazel got within 4 feet of the corner before Tanaka arrived, and he pressed himself flush against the baseboard as if he was physically intending to become the wall. Simone pulled Tanaka back by his collar. She went to the corner herself. She looked. She saw nothing. She knocked on the baseboard. It sounded normal. She stood up and started to call the trainer. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Her neighbor's husband, an exterminator named Greg Delacroix, came over for dinner on Friday. He was not there professionally. He was there for the pasta Simone made on Fridays that Marcus had been telling him about since August. He sat down on the couch with a beer, and Tanaka went to his corner position, and Greg watched the dog for 90 seconds without speaking. Then he said, "Can I look at that baseboard?" He took the panel off with a screwdriver from his truck. Behind it, in the insulation space between the baseboard heater and the wall cavity, there was a brown recluse spider nest. Not a single spider. A nest. Egg sacs, webs, multiple adult spiders in the specific dark, warm, undisturbed environment that brown recluses seek. The nest was at ground level. It was at the exact height of a 9-month-old baby who was exploring the texture of baseboards with her mouth. Greg said the nest had been there long enough to be established. He said brown recluse venom causes tissue necrosis, cell death at the bite site, with systemic effects in infants that can progress faster than in adults due to body weight. He said the panel had never been removed in the time they had lived there. He said the heater created warmth that made the cavity ideal. He said the dog could smell them from across the room. Dogs have documented olfactory detection of insect chemical signatures, specifically the alarm pheromones and metabolic compounds that spiders and other arthropods produce. He said he had never encountered a case where a dog had spent 4 days physically preventing a baby from approaching. But he could not think of a better explanation for what he was watching. He treated the area that night. He found 11 adult spiders. Has your dog ever kept your child away from something you didn't see until later? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Simone sat on the couch with Hazel in her lap and Tanaka at her feet and thought about the 4 days, the redirections, the corrections, the assumption that he was being difficult, the note to call the trainer. She thought about Wednesday, when she had pulled him back and gone to the corner herself and knocked on the baseboard and heard nothing wrong, and stood up without taking the panel off. She thought about what Greg had told her about the velocity of an infant's systemic reaction to brown recluse venom. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If these stories matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Tanaka did not go back to the corner after Greg left. He had no reason to. Whatever he had been smelling from across the room, it was gone. He went back to his usual spot near the radiator in the bedroom, where he had always slept before this particular Tuesday, and he lay down and exhaled and was done with it. He was never thanked in a way he could receive. He did not need to be. He had done the thing for 4 days, and the thing was finished. That was the sum of it for him. A job completed, a small creature redirected from a bad direction. Simone sat on the floor beside him that night and put her hand on his side. He turned his head and looked at her once, flat and direct, and then looked at the wall, which was enough. The next story involves a husky who kept leading a toddler away from the same window every afternoon, until the inspection team found what was happening inside the glass unit.